we got to talk about that Liverpool shirt first. Liverpool fan.
Yeah.
Good fan, I am myself.
That's all right. Good thing. That's a good thing. Playing rubbish at the minute, but yeah.
Right. So we're just going to get started on the interview, right? Couple of questions.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
So here we go. I'm delighted to be joined by 2-year PDC tour card holder and 3 times challenge tour winner, David Evans. How are you, mate? You all okay?
Not too bad, John. How's yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, but thank you.
Good.
How have you been finding like playing darts during lockdown? Like, I know you've played a lot in sort of like the Modus Icons Darts League. Have you played any on other sort of online darts or?
Yeah, it's been good, really. To be fair, it's not the same as obviously playing in front of people and obviously crowds and stuff like that, and obviously people behind you or in front of you. But you do get used to it after a while. And then obviously the Modus League helped as well. So it's in the comfort of your own home. So it was quite good, and it helped my game a hell of a lot. So yeah, it was really, really good.
How did you sort of find it, like the sort of waking up, sort of getting out of bed and thinking, right, put your dart shirt on and then going to play darts, but not going to play darts against someone like in an arena or in a club or anything?
Yeah, it is quite weird, but you just got to get used to it. After you start doing it the first couple of times, you start getting up and thinking, right, well, it's my job. I've got to get up and do it. So it starts working out like a normal 9-to-5 job. But if you don't put that sort of effort in, then you're never going to make it anywhere. So you do need to sort of treat it as a full-time job, put your stuff on, get yourself ready, and then go and do it.
Yeah, well, you did have quite a lot of success in the Modus Darts League. You did play some fantastic stuff, beat some cracking players. You beat the likes of Wolfie, Martin Adams, you beat Fallon Sherrock, beat quite a few big players, Mark Webster. Sort of, how did you feel like playing against Wolfie, like a big legend of the sport? Like, how did that feel?
It felt amazing, to be fair. I mean, obviously, I've known Martin for a few years now, playing on obviously the BDO tour before I got my tour card. But it's to play against those guys. It's a surreal feeling. You think to yourself, I used to watch them when you were a kid.
Yeah.
And then you're playing against them, and then you're beating them. You're thinking, you do remember watching them winning world titles when you were 6 or 7 years old and things like that, and you think, wow, well, what's going on here? I think the most surreal one for me was playing Phil Taylor on the Modus League. I mean, playing Phil Taylor, not only beating Phil Taylor but playing him, it's amazing.
That was in the Legends League, wasn't it?
That was in the Legends League, yeah.
Going on then, the Challenge Tour. You also topped the Challenge Tour order, America, beating the likes of Richie Edhouse, a real solid quality player, Keane Barry, who is now you see him doing it on the big stage, playing some fantastic darts. How was the Challenge Tour for you? Like, how did you find that?
The Challenge Tour itself for me, I mean, I went into the Challenge Tour thinking, well, I was number 52 in the Order of Merit. I was on £150. And I thought to myself, just enjoy it. I've been playing well during the Modus online league. I've been playing well while I've been at home. I've been putting the effort in. So why not? Why can't I do it? So I just relaxed and got on with it. And when I won my first one over that weekend, I put myself in a right opportunity to get a tour card. After that, it started getting a little bit tougher because I kept thinking to myself about, could I get a tour card here?
Yeah.
But it was just a case of I kept having to tell myself, relax, take one game at a time, etc., etc. And when I won my second one, I was like, well, I think that's got to be it now.
I suppose it is a bit like sort of like the Q School sort of thing, like with the Challenge Tour, like game after game, and obviously through to the next round. Obviously, if you lose the game, you come back the next day. Like, it's a sort of similar thing to Q School in that way.
It is, but I think Q School's a lot harder. I mean, you've got Challenge Tour. You know who's going to be there because you've played with them week in, week out before, or month in, month out. So you know who's going to be there, like the likes of Keane Barry, James Richardson, Richie Burnett. You knew they were going to be there.
Yeah.
Whereas Q School, you don't know who's going to turn up to try it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like this year, Alan Suter. Alan Suter great player, played for Scotland for many, many years, great player on the BDO as well. But this time he's thought, I'll go and give it a go. Obviously, everyone knows of Alan Suter, but
Now he's
they didn't know how he was going to play.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's beaten everyone in, and he's now, I think he's earned £12,500 in the first 2 weeks of being a tour card holder. So it's like, you know, it is there to have the opportunity to do it. So
yeah, definitely. You've already tasted life on the Pro Tour, and you'll probably admit that it's been a bit of an up and down start, really, for you, wasn't it? Your start to the Pro Tour. I've had some cracking wins, man. You beat the likes of Ricky Evans, Richie Burnett, and most recently Damon Hector, Johnny Clayton. They're all big names who are now playing their trade and doing the business in sort of the latter ends of tournaments. How did you sort of find like the bubble with the UK Open most recently? How did you find that, the sort of like the COVID darts, like, so obviously go have your test, like, and how did you find that?
To me, it's part of obviously what we have to do in order to be able to play the game that we all love. So we've got to turn up, we've got to get tested every time. The day before, we have a test, then we go straight to our hotel room, wait in the hotel room until we get our results. As soon as we get told we're negative, you literally get an hour a day to go out running or go and get some essential shopping or something like that. Then you've got to go back to your room until you're playing the following morning. So all the rules and regulations are perfect because it's keeping us all safe and looking after us while we're playing the game that we all love to do. Obviously, you get to see a couple of your friends that you've not seen before, you know, if you're outside or whatever. But it isn't the same until it goes back to normal, really. But at least you are in that sort of vicinity, obviously within distance wise, and you are getting to play, one-on-one sport again, sort of thing, instead of it being online. So it is a good thing. And we have to learn to get on with it, really.
How did you find the sort of practice aspect of that then, when you're sort of back into the room? Do you have a board set up in the room, or like I noticed a couple of people had a board set up?
I take one of the on tour boards, put them on the back of the hotel room door, and then just practice when I'm in my room, and then go into the venue, and then practice with I think 4 other people that you're allowed, but obviously within distance. You've got to keep your distance and wear a mask and stuff like that before you play.
How was the practice at obviously with the UK Open? I noticed a couple of people said in interviews that the practice sort of situation was difficult. Like I noticed Steve Brown, obviously he was timed out of his game in the UK Open, and he was saying that there's not a lot of sort of room for practice, like obviously because of the COVID situation, like the times you're given to practice.
Yeah, it's sort of like a if you're in there for that particular session, you can't go in there before your actual session. But there's plenty of practice boards to practice on. There was absolutely plenty, and everyone made sure that they were social distanced. There's lines on the floor to make sure you're standing behind those lines, and everything was fine. Obviously, the thing with Steve Brown, that's a thing that we've all heard of. Obviously, he went back to his room and his phone died, so no one could get hold of him. He wanted to prepare and do his own thing. So, but which is gutting really for him. But obviously, John did well. Following the Brown family sort of thing, and he did well and got to the 5th round, I believe. So it's one of those you live and learn with those things, and you just have to make sure your phone's charged up next time.
Yeah. Like we mentioned as well, like the players you beat, like Ricky Evans, Johnny Clayton, Richie Burnett, Damon Hector. That must give you like a huge amount of confidence that you can mix it with the big names. Like you've shown it on like the Modest Darts League. You hit 180s for fun. Like you're scoring well, you're finishing well. Like it must give you huge confidence that you can sort of mix it with those big names.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the thing with playing obviously the likes of Ricky and Johnny and obviously Richie as well. You know, I mean, Richie's a former world champion. Johnny's the world master. Ricky's won countless tournaments, and for me to be able to mix it with those guys, week in, week out, month in, month out, to me it's a dream. And I finally got into the best 128 players in the world. So to be able to put my sort of stamp on it and beat those sort of players is amazing for me.
Yeah, definitely.
And they're all decent with it as well. There's no argy bargy. There's no oh, you shouldn't be beating me or anything like that. So they all treat each other with respect, which is what we should all do during the games as well.
Yeah, definitely. Another question. Have you sort of got any goals that you've set yourself, like maybe personal targets or whatever, where you would like to get possibly into the world, like where in the world rankings, or a sort of a thing that you've set yourself to do in the next year, or?
Not in the next year. In obviously with the next 2 years, I want to obviously keep my tour card. So the aim is to get top 64 in the next 2 years. Obviously keep my tour card. But the main aim is just to do well, just to keep my head below the clouds and just follow what I've been dreaming of since I was a kid. Playing against the pros, if you get decent wins, try and qualify for some TV tournaments as well. It's different stepping stones, as they say, one game at a time, and follow it through. But the main aim is obviously after the first couple of years, top 64. I'd say the first year, sort of just try and do the best I can to set myself up for the second year.
Definitely. Who was your sort of darting idol growing up? Like, who was first got you sort of interested in playing darts?
Who got me interested in playing darts?
Have you got an idol, like someone that you looked up to starting playing darts? Or?
Well, I played him, Phil Taylor. That's Phil Taylor and Eric Bristow. They were my idols growing up, watching them on telly and stuff like that. But I mean, mainly, my mum and dad, they sort of started me off playing the sports. It was sort of, I played pool first, and then I got bored of playing pool, so I picked up a set of darts in some pubs that my mum and dad had. It was one of those that, if it was who actually got me into playing darts, it was my mum and dad. Who gave me the inspiration? Probably Phil Taylor and Eric Bristow, really.
Yeah, he's a legend of the game. I don't think anyone's going to do what Phil Taylor's done in the sport. He's amazing. The longevity of him as well, like to still be doing it, like towards the end of his career, still producing quality darts is just fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, he's been retired for the last few years now, and he's still capable of averaging over 100. It's amazing.
It's just amazing, yeah. Is there a game that stands out to you in terms of like how well you played, or a game that you sort of really enjoyed playing?
Probably the game I played against Dave Chisnell. That was Winter Series, I believe it was. And I played absolutely out my skin. I think I averaged 93 or something, but I played quite well. Yeah. And Dave averaged 121.6. So just to be a part of that match, knowing that I'm not missing much at all.
Yeah.
And for him he beat me 6-2, and I got 2 legs out of that, and I think it was 13 and a 15 darter.
Yeah.
But he was just unbelievable.
We've seen Chizzy do it. He done against Michael Van Gerwen, didn't he, at the World?
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
I thought it could have been Chizzy's year after I'd seen him. He dismantled Van Gerwen the way he did. I think he averaged 120 something. Just he was taking everything out. He wasn't giving Van Gerwen an answer. No, it was just amazing.
It was great to be a part of it. I mean, stood behind him, playing him, and you see treble 20s going in for fun, and treble 19s and finishes going in, and you stand there and you think, this is why I love this game, because it's not the fact I'm losing, it's the fact that I'm involved in such a high quality game like this.
Yeah, definitely.
And the more people that realize that the game isn't just about winning or losing, it's about loving the game as well, then the more people will have like Dave Chisnell, that just gets on with the game, plays it like it is. Same with Gary Anderson as well. Just plays darts, gets on with it. That's it. Which is the more people get like that, the better, I think.
Is there anybody on the tour that you're sort of like close with, like practice partners or anybody like that?
Well, my recent practice partner is the UK Open runner-up, Luke Humphries. Yeah. I've been playing a lot of online practice with him. I'll give him a ring. In fact, I'm doing that later on tonight. Yeah. So But previously, before that, a really good friend of mine that's still on the tour now is Stephen Bunting.
Yeah.
I do get on quite well with Stephen. We play for the same team on a Tuesday. Also with Kai Fan Lung as well.
Yeah.
And recently, he's just got his tour card as well, Louis Williams.
Yeah. I'm actually planning. I'm planning on doing an interview with Louis recently. He's the next one I'm going to be interviewing now. He got his tour card now, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
He had a good win against Van Gerwen. He beat, wasn't it, at the Summer Series, is it, or Super Series?
Super Series, the first one last week, week before last. But yeah, he's good, and obviously, like the local lads that I've grown up with as well, Martin Atkins from Wigan and Brad Brooks as well. So there's a lot of decent guys on the tour, but the close ones are obviously are those sort of guys: Louis Williams, Brad Brooks, Bunting, Luke Humphries as well. So
it goes to show well, though, with like you say about Luke Humphries, like obviously he's had a fantastic run recently at the UK Open. Like it just goes to show that sort of one good run you can put together, and you can start sort of putting your name in the hat then for other things. You can sort of stop knocking the door on other tournaments, and like you were saying, he's sort of put himself in contention for like the match play and stuff like that. Like all because of this fantastic run that he had recently.
Yeah, I mean it's a massive stepping stone for Luke, really, because I mean he's done that. He's during practice with myself, he's been brilliant. Finishing's been good, scoring's been good. We've had some really good games, and it proved that in the game against Michael Van Gerwen.
Yeah,
because what he was doing to me with his finishing and stuff like that, he did against Michael, and that's what we all know Luke's capable of. But as you say, he's now sort of set himself up massively. He's guaranteed in the Grand Slam. He's 33rd in the world now, so he's going up and up and up all the time. So it can only get better for him as well.
Yeah, definitely. He's certainly proven it. Like we all know that Luke can do it. Like we've seen him do it in sort of patches, like glimpses of it. But like to do that on the big stage, he seems to just come alive on the big stage, Luke. Like we've seen in the past, he's done it, and then doing what he done to Michael Van Gerwen. Obviously, he's come up against a fantastic player in James Wade in the final, and he just doesn't miss anything. James Wade just finishes everything. Yeah, it's just
James is. I played James twice last week, or week before, should I say? And it wasn't pretty for myself, but he just doesn't miss anything. If you give him an opportunity, he'll just take it on you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And like, I just love the way he sort of gets on and play darts. It's no sort of like, as Wayne Mardle says, peacockery, where you try and like try and sort of big anything up, or he's just straight to the point, plays darts. And I think that's the best way to be when you're playing darts. Just enjoy it, like he seems to.
Yeah, and enjoy it and get on with it. Get on with the game, because I mean, if everyone knows that if you're in the Pro Tours and you've got a tour card, you are part of the elite of the sport.
Yeah,
top 128 in the world. You don't need to be doing all this, slowing yourself down or taking your darts out slowly or making any clicky noises or anything like that. You don't need to be doing that. Just get on with the game, and if you win, you win. You lose, you lose. If you win, obviously during COVID, fist pump hands. If if it's not during COVID, shake the guy's hand, say well done or unlucky pal, blah blah blah, etc. That's it, and just get on with the game and just enjoy it. It's the main thing.
We got to talk about the nickname Stretch. Where did the nickname come from?
That came from Joe Mernon.
Joe Mernon.
Yeah, Joe Mernon gave me that nickname. That's basically because I'm 6'6".
Yeah.
So it was Superman before that because of the way I used to throw. I used to throw like one arm flying behind my back, and that was it. But obviously Matt Clark had that nickname, so which everyone gets because it's Clark from Kent. So Clark Kent, But no, I had to change it, and Joe says, why don't we call you Stretch? Because we always do. So he said, why don't you just have that? So I did.
Nickname that has stuck with you, and it's going to stick with you all the way through, I think. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, definitely.
Have you got any advice you'd give to sort of a young player starting out? Would you give any advice, or have you had any advice given to you, like when you were starting, or would you like to give any advice to young players?
The only thing I would say is just relax and enjoy the game. I've had so many people say to me, just relax and enjoy it. Don't put too much pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
If you put pressure on yourself, then you just constantly start thinking. And the worst thing a dart player can do is think.
Yeah.
Because if you think that, if you think you're going to win a game, if you think you're going to lose a game, then you start baffling yourself.
Go in with no expectations and just enjoy it.
That's it. If you believe in yourself, then you can do it. You can believe in anything. You can do anything. If you believe in yourself, you can do anything. A good friend of mine, Mark Kingdon, he went to Q school, and he was constantly saying to myself, he said, I don't know whether I should do it. I don't know whether I'm that good and all this. I said, it doesn't matter. I said, just go there for the experience.
Yeah, well, I'm actually going myself. I'm actually going myself to Q school next year. I've been practicing probably 3 to 4 hours a day now, just trying to put in the work. And I'm not sort of going in with any expectations. I just want to go in and enjoy it, like experience it. Because I think for like a young dart player, someone who's obviously aspiring to be in the position like yourself and get the tour card, I think it's 100% something that you should experience if you feel you're capable of doing it.
Exactly. And anyone that feels that they're capable of doing anything, they should go and do it. If some people feel like they want to be a lawyer, and then prepare yourself for being a lawyer. Go and do it. One of my favorite sayings ever is if you fail to prepare, you're prepared to fail.
Yeah.
So the best thing to do is if you want to go out there and do it, like you said, you've been doing 4 hours practice a day, etc. Now that it's good preparation. Don't overdo it though.
Yeah.
Because if you overdo stuff, then you end up with problems with your elbows and stuff like that. But good preparation can stand you in good stead for future life, whether it's darts or education or anything like that. So my main thing to young kids coming into the game is just prepare yourself for it, and not just mentally, but physically as well. That's the main thing. Just prepare for it. Prepare and enjoy the game mainly as well.
Is there any sort of young players coming through that you would say to sort of keep an eye out for? Obviously, you've got Brad Brooks, World Youth Champion. Is there any sort of others that you would say you'd tip to be quite big in the future?
He's just signed with Nathan Aspinall's management. Luke Littler.
Luke Littler.
He is 14 years old. And he's been playing darts since he was about 12. He's absolutely amazing. He's playing on these online things with Ben Hunter, the Australian fella. And Luke isn't averaging below 90 in any games. He's hit 9 darters in the England Grand Prix, and he's 14. I can't wait until he turns 16 when he gets on that development tour. Because he is going to absolutely turn some heads. Unbelievable. A personal statement I would personally say is that him now, he's better than Van Gerwen.
Better than Van Gerwen?
Not currently, but he's better than what Van Gerwen was as a teenager.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Something to look. He's another player to look out for then. Coming through.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's some fantastic young players now though coming through. Like you say with the development tour. Like you've got the Target Elite. Is it the Target Elite team? I think.
Target Elite. Yeah.
Like they said about John Brown. He's obviously got his tour card now, hasn't he? And he's obviously playing now on the Pro Tour. And obviously he had a cracking run again towards the end of the tournament. There's some great young players coming through the sport, and I think it is exciting times for darts. In the future.
It is because I mean, the thing with darts and obviously other sports as well is the youth is the future of the game. So you've got the likes of obviously Keane Barry, Brad Brooks, John Brown. There's Keelan Kay as well, and obviously Luke. I mean, Luke's only 26.
Yeah.
So you've got all those youth and youngsters coming through, and they're hitting 9 darters. I mean, Sebastian Bielecki the other day, UK Open, 17 years old, hits a 9 darter at the UK Open.
And then he has a 9 darter hit against him, and in the
next, Jitse van der Waal, I think, hit one back at him. So I think Jitse's only 21, 22, something like that. So, it just proves that the youth of the game is the future. It really is. It is. And I want him to stay clear of me for a couple of years and let me let me go to the rankings first. But yeah, no. If you end up playing these youngsters, you've got to sort of show your experience against them as well. But sometimes it's not enough because they are that good.
Next up for you is the Super Series again. Is in next week?
Yep, that's next week. That's in Milton Keynes.
Milton Keynes, yeah. Looking forward to getting back on the board and playing again, because you had a good run at the UK Open. Unlucky against Madders, really. You got into a real big lead, didn't you, against Madders?
Yeah. It was the thing with Madders. It's I went 4-0 up, not even looking at what he was doing, and then all of a sudden I started looking at what he was doing, and it got to me really. I mean, he was going treble 19, treble 19, treble 17, then treble 17, treble 17, treble 16, and I'm thinking,
really unorthodox,
who goes that way, But no, I know for now, just to sort of not look at what my opponent's doing, and just get on with my game. But yeah, so I mean, Super Series next week. Played some good stuff. Not the best on the stage. That's 79 average or whatever it was, but averages don't win you games.
Yeah, we beat the real quality operator in Damon Hector.
That's it. He's
that's a big one for your sort of CV there, to beat Damon.
It's not, obviously that wasn't Damon playing properly, I don't think. He averaged 81 or whatever it is, but we all know what class Damon's got, and he's one of those players that if you don't punish certain things and certain shots, then he will come back and take it out on you. But we all saw what he did in the first Super Series. He had a right good run. He got beat in the final of one of them. But
Price, I think it was.
Who won? No, it was the final. Who beat him in the final?
Michael Smith, was it?
No, Johnny Clayton.
Johnny Clayton, yeah.
Johnny Clayton, yeah. So we to get to a final of a Pro Tour, it's amazing for anybody. So obviously we know that you are good if you've got to a final of one of those, because you come through a field of 128 players, 127 players, to get to a final. So
yeah.
It's one of those. So he will be back, and we all know that. A little bit of a blip for him, and that's it. But I'll take the win at the end of the day. So
we got one final question here. A couple of the subscribers have asked. It's the World Championship final, and you get to choose any player, past or present, to play in that final. Who are you choosing to play? Like your sort of dream match?
My dream match to play in a final. Ooh, that's a tough one. Probably one of two people. Probably the legend of the game, Eric Bristow.
Yeah.
And because Phil's still around, so I would probably say it'd have to be Phil, because Phil is a 16-time world champion. So obviously he's retired. If he ever came back, it'd have to be Phil, because to try and have the opportunity to beat Phil in a final, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Now, if it was going back to people that aren't playing or they've sadly passed on, it would have to be probably Jockey Wilson.
Jockey Wilson, yeah.
All
three are legends.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Recently, obviously you've got Alan Glazer, who sadly passed away a few months ago, and obviously the other legend, Alan Evans, as well.
Yeah.
So, but no, it probably have to be Phil or Eric. I would say.
In the final.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's all.
Yeah.
That's all for the interview, buddy. Thank you very much
No
for
problem.
the chat. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no problem at all.
All the best for next week in the Super Series. I'll keep an eye out for the scores, and maybe we'll catch up again sometime.
Yeah, no problem at all. Give us a shout at any point.
Thank you very much, David. I appreciate that, mate.
No,
Thank you,
no
buddy.
problem, John.
Top man.
Take care, mate.
Cheers.